Sorry guys, we got our meats on the fire. It's time for a brewski, and let's chat. So, things to come. Let's talk about things to come, because it's actually kind of important. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to be heading out to kind of northern Ontario, just for a quick, we'll call it an overnighter. So I'm going to drive 7.5 hours, almost 8 hours, to this town where I have a family member who lives there, and I'm going to be picking up a canoe. And I'm going to be coming back, and I'm hoping that for next year I'll be able to plan out some canoe camping trips. That's the goal anyway. If not, we're going to be doing some exploring around my area. I do have a absolute giant waterway right close to my house. We're talking maybe 5 minutes by car. I can get onto this waterway and paddle forever. Really far. Like, anyway, that said, I'm hoping to be able to get some canoe camping trips, that kind of thing done. I'm also hoping to just to get out and do some fishing videos, and I'm also hoping to teach my son how to paddle. That's going to be probably my most important thing, because I want to get out there and teach my boy how to paddle a canoe, some water safety things, that kind of thing. So as soon as he's old enough to carry a pack that he would need for a multi-day trip, we're going to go do one. And that's the plan. For all you beginner bushcrafters out there that are taking a look at my setup here and you're like, dude, that's the ugliest setup I've ever seen, let me give you a quick tip. That is a delicious looking pork tenderloin, cooked over a fire with a setup that is so ugly it make your mom cry, but it works. It took me 5 minutes to set up, and it works. I could have sat here, found the perfect twigs, the perfect branches, set it all up, and it could have been the beautifulest thing you've ever seen, but there's no need. What I needed to do was cook my lunch. My lunch is cooked, and it looks damn awesome. Look at that. I think our lunch is just about done, so let's take a look. All right, so let's have a look. Can I touch it? Yep, it's not too squishy. Pull that off. Oh, it's pretty hot. Okay, I'm gonna go sit down and we'll try this out and see how it is. Oh man, look at this. Absolutely delicious. Here, needs a little work. Chuck that bad boy right on the coals, and we'll give it a flip, and it should be ready to go in no time. Alright guys, so I'm going to sit here and eat this pork tenderloin, but before we get into that, it's still a little hot, we'll chat a little bit. So I already mentioned the canoe. I'm hoping we'll be able to get out a couple times on that before it gets too cold out. Then we've got the then I've got a knife coming. Now we'll talk about that knife when it arrives. I don't want to give away too much, but there's really two guys out there, and there's a lot, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good knife makers out there, but there's two guys out there that really stand out for me. One of them is Craig from Maple Husk Knives. If you go over and check out his YouTube channel, he's got these two videos up of two of my favorite knives that I think he's made, that for me anyway. One of them is the Highwayman. It's an absolute beautiful knife. And a great song actually in the video too, Craig, by the way, if you're watching this. And the other one is this knife he made for Cape Fear Outdoors or Survival or something like that. He's on YouTube. he made this knife for this guy, and I think this one is my favorite knife that I think that Craig's made for anybody. The file work on it is exceptional. The colors that he picked are exceptional. The wood that he picked, it's just blew my mind. Some kind of burl. The leather work on it, it's a scout carry that he did, and he attached a ferro rod, a striker, and I think even a ceramic rod to the outside of it. It's just, I'm telling you, you got to check it out. It's gonna freak out. It's gonna blow your mind. And that's Craig. I call him the Picasso of the Picasso of knife making. And I know I've talked about this over and over and over again, but he really does make just beautiful art. And anyway, that's Craig. The second guy, who will remain nameless for now, is, and brother, if you're watching this, listen to my words. He is an exceptional talent. He does everything by hand. No machinery. Bangs out these blades on an anvil. Carves out the handles by hand. Does all the leather work himself, just like Craig. But he does it all by hand. Everything is done by hand, and he comes out with these beautiful, traditional looking pieces that he may try to downplay, but you don't blow my mind if you're just average or normal. And brother, you're not average or normal. You may be a little crazy, but you're freaking awesome. And anyway, that just said, it's going to be an honor to own one of his blades. I'm not sure if I'm going to review it or not, but I definitely will. I definitely will show it. We're going to go out and use it. We're going to use the crap out of it. And then I'm going to talk about the few small things that are going on in the design of that blade, because it looks kind of simple when you see it, but when simple and beautiful, but when you actually see the thought that's gone into these designs, it's very impressive, and it makes you wonder where knife making is going today, because a lot of guys are going in the same direction and they're forgetting about these important designs and why they're used and why they should still be used. But anyway, we're not going to get too much into that. I know I'm talking vague. I'm going to go ahead and eat my pork tenderloin, and then I think we're going to head on home. Sorry guys, just want to give you a quick update on these Sportner chairs. I know you guys have been seeing this on my channel for a while. It's still going strong, no signs of wear, all the joints are good, no fatigue looking in the plastic, you know, when you get those little white spots or those wrinkles or anything like that. Nothing like that. The only modification I did was put some dog toys actually at the end of it so it doesn't sink into the soft ground so much. When you are a big boy, you will lose your feet in the ground or in the snow if it's wet or soft. But that's not the fault of the chair. That's just the fault of one too many sandwiches. Oh, we're going blurry here. Come on back here. There we go. So, all things considered, if you guys are looking for a chair, I highly recommend one of these guys. Again, I'll put the specs right here so you can see the size, the weight, and the capacity. And I think you'll be pretty pleased with it. So, don't go and spend that $100 on a chair when you can buy one for 35 bucks and it's going to last you. Because not all things with a low price tag is garbage. There are good things out there, and this is one of them. So, that said guys, it's time for me to break camp. I'm going to pack this thing up. I'm going to spray some water on that fire, and we're going to boogie on out of here. I got to go home. It's getting late. And although you can't really tell on the camera, but it's getting pretty dark in here. So I got about an hour hike to go, and we'll get out of here. But we'll see you again soon. I got something big just cruising around just on the outside where I can't see. I tried zooming in with my camera, but I couldn't see it. I heard it crash through the bushes over there, and then I heard it cross the creek just a little down there. I heard a splash, and then it disappeared. Already had one close call with a bear this year. Don't need another one. So, that said, I'm gonna pack this up. We're gonna get out of Dodge. Fire's just finishing up. There's a creek. There's the hill we came down. We gotta go back up that bad boy. So guys, recently I was watching Lonnie over at Far North Bushcraft and Survival, and he was talking about some misconceptions about bushcraft, and he was mentioning gear, And there's something I want to second what he said. And he was talking about how it's not the really expensive gear that makes you a woodsman. It's your skill set. So as much as it is nice to own a really beautiful hand-forged axe and these knives and all these things, it's not necessary to be a good woodsman. You put a Grand Force Burke's axe in the hands of a newbie, and there's a good chance the only difference it's going to make is the amount of fingers he has and how many scars he has on his body. And if you take a department store axe that some guy bought at Home Depot for 20 bucks, you put that in a skilled woodsman's hand, and he's going to be able to do anything he needs to do with that axe, do it well and do it quickly. So really what it comes down to is skill set. Just keep that in mind. And I know, like I pointed out at dinner time, when I was eating my lunch, cooking it, I made that reference to about how my pot hanger was kind of ugly, but it cooked my food perfectly, and that wasn't an issue. Whatever you tend to watch on YouTube, or these movies, videos, whatever it is, these books even, learn what you can and toss out the other stuff, because there's a lot of guys out there that are woodsmen, but they're also salesmen, and they're going to tell you that you need certain things and you have to have this and you have to have that, and a lot of the guys, to be honest, is just crap. So my message to you is learn what you can, practice whenever you can, and nothing has to be perfect to work, and there's more than one ways to do things. So the perfect way is the way that you have success with, and these things are going to fine-tune themselves as you gain more experience and get more dirt time. So anyway, that's my little piece of knowledge for you, and that's all I got. So I'm gonna march on out of here. For those of you who stuck around this long, I encourage you to go over and check out Lonnie's channel. If you're a new guy trying to learn the ropes in bushcraft, Lonnie's your man. Really smart guy, really intelligent guy, really wise guy, actually, it's better to say. He knows this stuff, and there's no keyboard warrior crap with him, and he'll answer you when you write a message too, which is great. Check out Lonnie, and go ahead and check out Craig from A Plus Knives. You want to see some beautiful stuff, you check him out. It's gonna blow your mind. I'm almost back to the car, another 20 minutes or so. You guys take care, get out and explore. Can't believe I just winked at you. What a freak. Just found myself a little chanterelle here, but none others in the area. Just the one. So I think I'm going to cut this guy in half and throw it around, and hopefully it'll spore out some more and populate this area a little bit more than it already has been.